Gentleman from Texas, rise.
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will read the amendment.
Amendment offered by Mr. Gallego of Texas. On page 38, line 2, after the dollar amount, insert increase by $2,500,000. On page 39, line 23, after the dollar amount, insert increased by $2,500,000. On page 44, line 6, after the dollar amount, insert reduced by $2,500,000. On page 45, line 9, after the dollar amount, insert reduced by $2,500,000.
Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, too, Mr. Speaker, want to start by thanking Chairman Wolf for his service and wishing him the best in his next steps after retirement. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Representative John Culberson and Representative Cory Gardner for their help on this amendment and making this effort bipartisan. This amendment seeks to add additional revenue to the Domestic Violence, Dating Violence, Sexual Assault, and Stalking Assistance Program. It's a rural program that enhances the safety of children, youth, and adults who are victims of domestic violence or victims of stalking or dating violence or sexual assault. Frankly, in rural areas across the 23rd District and much of the country, domestic violence shelters survive on grant programs of various kinds. And money like this is the lifeblood of many of these shelters. And this amendment provides additional revenue to keep those shelters open and operating and protecting these victims of crime who so desperately need protection. In addition, what this does, Mr. Speaker, is add additional revenue to the Violence Against Women Prevention and Prosecution programs. And that is a program that also helps to assist the victims of crime, and in addition to that, helps to make sure that we put these people behind bars. I will tell you, Mr. Speaker, that I have had a long history involved in the criminal justice movement and had the opportunity in the Texas legislature to serve as chairman of the committee with jurisdiction over crime victims and crime victims' rights. And I can think of no better way to spend revenue than to make sure that victims are protected and taken care of, and particularly the victims who are children and so in need of our assistance. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask that this amendment be adopted, and again, I thank my colleagues, Mr. Culberson and Mr. Gardner, and Chairman Wolf, and our ranking member as well, for their help in drafting the amendment and making sure that all were dotted and the T's were crossed.